beauty is just the tip of the iceberg. And the iceberg is made up of health, wellness, wholesome life, and everything. Nice. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. You look beautiful.
All right. Thank you. You too?
Oh,
How
thank
young
you.
are you?
I am 35.
Oh, you're young. Very young. Great. Great. You're
How
like
old are
probably
you?
in your prime. This is it.
Oh,
Okay. Um, I don't know if I think you had like you had sent out an agreement to us, but I did get your email about it.
okay, good.
Mhm.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, I'd love for you to share things. It's just that we want to make sure that the tagging is done.
So where should we tag you for
Anywhere.
your and what is this? I would love to tag you. We have like always because I when I started this journey, I started this journey to reintroduce my podcast, which
Mhm.
is called Bathroom Diaries.
Oh,
And it is on Spotify and Libsyn and also on YouTube.
okay.
So it's called I think Bathroom Diaries with Dr. Din, or I think Dr. Giovanni, because Giovanni is the place where I'm working.
Okay. I'll have to check it out.
Oh, perfect. So anyway, when I started this journey, I was like, okay, I need to talk to people who
Mm.
are, who may be interested in collaborating or doing things. So if you have an also a podcast which like kind of aligned with what we do.
Hmm. Yeah, because you're all about beauty and aging and skincare, right?
So my field is basically longevity medicine,
Hmm.
which is like how to keep yourself together through time, gravity, hormones over a period of time. That is how and how to how to manage different phases of life. So right now where you are is probably the peak of your you know system, and then after a certain point women go through perimenopause, menopause, and how to navigate your body, your beauty through the pauses that are sometimes naturally programmed into your lifespan, and how to talk about them. But it's not just I tell everybody that beauty is just the tip of the iceberg, and the iceberg is made up of health, wellness, wholesome life, and everything.
Oh, and see, I could have let you keep going because I mean, we should just dive into it. I
Yeah,
have,
exactly. I mean, I know. I don't know how much time we have, but it was. I think your program is like what, 30 minutes. My thing is that people have lost the ability to pay attention for too long. So if you're not saying something to someone that is impactful, like I'm at that point where like if it's not making impact on your day-to-day life, then let's not waste time, because there are more important things I'm sure everybody has, including myself.
right. Yeah, it ranges between 30 to 60 minutes, so it's generally around 45. Um, but if you would like to go a little bit shorter, we could do that.
No, whatever, because you're going to be the one, because this is your content, because I'm coming on your platform. So you can, I guess, edit it and then just send us. When do you release it?
Usually the turnaround time is usually about 3 to 4 weeks.
Oh, beautiful. That's very fast. Good.
Yeah,
Okay, so my team basically gets the thing because I don't do it. It's hard for
right.
me to do all the stuff. So my team basically does the posting and the editing part of this. And so then they can whatever you tell them, and you just tell us like where your stuff is. I'd love to promote what is your show about? You want to tell me about that?
The podcast?
Uh-huh.
It's all about holistic healing, holistic health. So we talk about all kinds of things. I mean, I have gone into different things as far as perimenopause,
Mm.
postmenopause, things like that, as far as women's health and hormones. And then there's a lot about nutrition. There's a lot about mindset, sleep. I'll have experts on with depending on what their niche is. It could be any of those things. And then some people will cover all of those things, just not as in depth. And then I've had some people on about men's health. So really it just everything about health, which involves aging and longevity and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that I'm happy. What made you interested in this? I mean, that's what I should ask.
And doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through my own healing journey. I had really chronic, severe cystic acne and eczema on my face, and I it was pretty abrupt in my 20s. And I went to a bunch of doctors, and I didn't like the options I was given. And so I went the holistic route, and I went to diet and lifestyle. I was able to heal in just a few months. In that process, I became very health centered and I lost connection with a lot of my friends who enjoyed going out and having drinks and things like that. So basically, I created this because I wanted to connect with people who were interested in the same things I was and have those conversations. And that's what led me here is it started as just like a passion project to connect with other like-minded people.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's very important. So did you have a dermatologist
Mhm.
who assisted you in any way? Did you go on any antibiotics at any point?
I think that was part of the issue is because a year before it happened, I would take an antibiotics like a Z-Pack just anytime I was going to travel. So I would take it like once a month sometimes, and I didn't know I was wiping out all the bacteria, and so that wasn't good. But yeah, when I had all the skin issues, they wanted me to put me on Accutane, or they want to do antibiotics or steroids or birth control, and I didn't like any of those options personally.
Yeah, nobody likes them. It's like, poisoning your system
Hmm.
just to eradicate certain bacteria that
Hmm.
are that have taken hold of some prime location on the real estate of your body, which is your skin. So, your skin is the largest organ that you own, and it is not just the holder of your light, but it's also the holder of your consciousness. And certain parts of your skin are very important because that is, I call it the prime real estate on your body, and that is your face. And it's important not only because you recognize yourself as self when you look at yourself, but also your face holds identifiers, how other people recognize you as you. And um, maintaining connection with a version of yourself that you like best is very important throughout life. So I'm very happy to hear that, you were granted options, but then you realized that what was amazing for you was to like finally connect with be true to your own self. That's where we say that this true healing occurs when you're truthful to your own self, and then you disconnect with things that hurt you, whether it is food or whether it's environment, whether it is friends, whether it's because everything is eventually all energy. So, and it's not some woo-woo thing. And I'm like, I'm actually a medical doctor. So all doctors, they are supposed to learn how the body works and how the systems work, and they come together. So not just at a cellular level, but at a whole level. So human as a whole is my field. I'm also board certified in family medicine, and I did geriatrics for like a period of my life where I served old people. And then I realized that aging in United States is so abnormal. Um, when I worked for the system, that's and I was a medical director of a nursing home with a rehabilitation center, so it was very difficult to see people in their old age to be suffering from at least 5 to 7 different diseases, and they are on at least 7 to 10 different medications.
Mhm.
And basically, it's like, just as if aging were itself a disease, and the cookie crumbles in like 20 different, thousands of different ways. However, I realized, so that was like such a period of, you know, depression and darkness for me because I felt completely helpless in helping people. So my turnaround and my life turned and changed because I started putting myself through school, because then I realized that there are two systems in United States healthcare, where one is like sickness management, where that's where insurance covers it, then you do it, or if it doesn't cover it, then you don't do it, and then there is no connect with health, where basically your healthcare system is nothing but disease management. It has nothing to do with your health. Your health is an out of pocket expense in most states currently, and that's that. So your health is your own problem. And beauty is definitely, that is like considered cosmetic. That is just like the cream on the cake of health, which you have kept over a long period of time. So basically, my one of the things that one of my stuff that I do in bathroom diaries is like, how because that is a place of vulnerability where everybody's, you're the most vulnerable, and you're most like you're facing yourself. So that face off that you have in your when you're in front of your mirror without your makeup, without all the filters, what to expect, and how your skin can tell signs of what's going on inside your body, and how to keep that healthy. And unless that's healthy, because you have to, you come face to face with your realities there. And so basically that's usually what I do, like how to, the like I that's the kind of work I do. So even though my work may be starting on just your face, I basically would like to basically make people, alert people when they are hitting their perimenopause phases, where they may have, like, with slight adjustments, how they can, save themselves from crumbling, from the matrix of life and fertility and beauty. And basically this turnaround I did by putting myself through school of longevity, and which was a very, um, now it is like you would probably be able to find somebody, whoever is, who might know this, all these medications and device managements, pretty much in every city of the world, if not, and in every town has somebody like me. But almost movement of health and the world of aesthetics started almost like 10 years ago, and it just accelerated during the pandemic, when people realized that it's not good to be so unhealthy, and being unhealthy can like really mess up everything for you, and there is no medication that can just fix the problem, because basically the system is such that it waits until you have a problem, then it throws it to you a pill. But the thing is that the best thing to do is to not let don't go to this state where you're now crumbling, and now you're just like putting a band-aid on your problem every day. So one of my things is that that I was like, I have to shift my target population to people who have not started disintegrating yet, like your younger people. So when you have it, it's easier to maintain it than rebuild it after it has fallen apart. And especially that's true not just for skin, it's for like literally every other organ. So if you have heart issues, and you do not maintain appropriate cardiovascular health, it is going to, cookie will start crumbling somewhere and you'll have issues. So, and my basically the work that I am currently engaged in is how to um how to tell how to educate and re-educate not just ourselves but also our patients and our clients, help them understand, re-educate them about facing their pauses which are built into your system. Sometimes you may end up going through these pauses earlier in life because sometimes, if you're having multiple childbirths, do you have children? Let me ask you that.
I don't. And I'm wondering what does make you go through the phases earlier versus later?
Stress.
Mm.
The stress of childbearing and the stress that you may be facing, in your day-to-day life, because as you go through time, you will have stress from this or that, whatever, and then that stress can lead to incorrect decisions in feeding yourselves. It may disrupt your sleep, and it may mess with your capacity to maintain your physical health. So that can cause, disrupt your health and wellness. Anybody's, so whether it is financial stress or just relationship stress. So when you're in your 30s for the first ever time in your life, what ends up happening is that you're in this like period where you have the biological clock ticking, and then you are unable to find you have to find a suitable mate because you're like, oh, whatever. So women have in their 30s relationship issues, motherhood issues, or if they're not getting pregnant, that issues, job issues, and all of that stress leads to your body thinking that it's under some kind of attack. So it releases a lot of cortisol, which creates inflammation at a cellular level in the system. So after going through this trauma, sometimes people can experience like a pause, which sometimes can manifest as hair loss, sometimes it can manifest as weight gain. Sometimes it can manifest as acne, where you have unhealthy internal chemistry, and now bacteria are settling in certain parts of your skin. So unless you relieve yourself from whatever is causing that chemical imbalance, because what I like to tell my clients also is like, listen, you're nothing but a chemical reaction occurring under your skin,
Mm.
and you are in control of this reaction while you're alive. So you have agency over certain things. Certain ththings you don't have agency because you can't control how long your ovaries are going to create the hormones that are going to keep your skin healthy, how long it's going to create. However, if there is a disruption in that, then you don't have to allow yourself to go through this chemical castration. You can, because of the fact that now you are born in a different time period of human knowledge, where we have not only information about how to help ourselves before when we hit the pause, but also we have like, yes, please go and make sure that you get these things done by professionals who know what they're doing. However, make sure that you give yourself that access to that medication that you need to flow through the pause. You don't have to break apart and then keep hitting like that pause, because that pause is biological. You have to now overcome your biology and become superhuman. So we are in that era of time where humans, with the help of science and some devices and energy devices that we, if harnessed correctly, can overcome time and gravity and hormonal imbalance and all the other challenges that you face, which of course, I mean, you're facing. So we women sometimes, one of the things that like if I want to like it was a very important question that somebody once asked me is like, what would you like to tell your earlier self? If I when I was 30s for the first time, if I ever get that chance, and that person, like, I would say, stop feeling guilty. You're
Stop feeling
doing
guilty.
just fine. You're just enough. You're doing absolutely right. One of the things that we do is that the shaming and guilt shaming of women, whether it is by their families, whether it is by their friends, whether it's by their co-workers, whoever, that guilt shaming of women gotta stop, and it stops with you. You have to say, okay, that's enough. I did well. And then you let yourself have that release from guilt shaming, because everybody has their own personal, value in life, and you have to attach yourself to that value. And it doesn't, you don't have to worry about, like, oh my God, what somebody else is wondering about you, because, the only beholder you need to work with is your own self.
Mhm.
So, when you're true to your own self, you're doing yourself a very big favor. And, I'm glad that you were able to do that. I guess I'm like taking over this talk. So anyway, any other question that you have?
No, it's all fantastic. In fact, I would love to go a little bit more into the pauses, the pre, peri, meno, and post. Should we be addressing aging differently in each of these phases?
100%. So perimenopause is like basically now, as we recognize what we're trying to understand these phases now. And it is up to women to understand it first, not just by our experience, but also by through study. So a lot of women are now actively studying this, trying medications, and for the first time, actually, I don't know when you're going to release this podcast, but already as we speak, FDA has removed the black label warnings from different hormonal replacement treatments for women, which were previously placed, and it was so scary because they were basically based upon a flawed study in 2002.
The
So
black labels were?
it was a flawed study with a flawed analysis in retrospect. And even when it was being, and I think that press and media, especially, the big media branches, they just like created this hysteria about something that was so essential for women to navigate their pauses. And for a decade, they created such a stunned generation of women that didn't do anything, and they that let themselves get chemically castrated during their pauses without any assistance, without any help. And it's one of the, and however, this wrong is being corrected now. And I speak of this with a lot of respect also, because I understand that they were trying to just save people. But sometimes by being so not open to learning new things, you may cause more harm. It's like, imagine having a car, and every time you go and try to get in, it says, "Oh, by the way, you can have an accident. Somebody can kill you. You can kill someone. You can, damage other people's property, including yours, and then you will get insurance problems, and then you will not, get, what." If every time you had to go through all the adverse effects of driving a car from point A to point B, I can assure you that not even 5% of people will drive.
Hmm.
And what they need to do is to maybe make people not drive, right? I mean, it's better to put it on that, even though, I mean, of course, what is the worst side effect that can happen when you drive a car? You can die.
Right.
Right? So it is an accident. However, the what is the benefits? Because driving a car is one of the things that we now do and take for granted, because our ancestors learned it, we learned it, we are improving it constantly. However, we're not going to stop driving cars. I
Mhm.
mean, I understand. There is like I'm going to now go off on a tangent. And, there's like this community in Philadelphia who they don't drive cars and they're very healthy. And I've never lived in that, but they don't have Wi-Fi, they don't have TV. And I'm like, maybe, I mean, I don't want to live my life as if I exist in the 18th century. I want to live my life as if I exist in the time that I have been blessed with. And there's a lot of our ancestors and their consciousness came together to bring us to here. And so, one of the things is to also continuously learn. So, I come back to the point, I'm going to drag it back to the point where, these medications, which is hormonal replacement therapy for women undergoing the naturally occurring pauses in their lives to be started on, and and how to maintain it. And you have to, of course, rely on the if so I don't know if insurance is going to cover this, because they don't consider perimenopause or menopause a disease. They consider it as a natural occurrence that happens to all the women. However, if a man goes through andropause, which is like when men also pause, by the way, news flash. And the thing is that when men, their testosterone levels go down, guess what? They get testosterone replacement therapy. When they get erectile dysfunction, they get Cialis and, you know, uh, what else, Viagra and stuff. And so and men also gain weight in, they have metabolic sluggishness and slow down. And that, and we think of those men as successful because they have like this big, midsection, because now you're in andropause. That means that, you're somebody who is, it's a sign of wealth. It's considered, because fat deposits were considered sign of wealth. But now food is so ample and so available and so highly addictive, and it's so cheap that, and we overeat. However, when you're in andropause, there will be a lot of metabolic sluggishness, and you will, if you're not like very careful and you're not living your life like a saint, it's going to, you'll develop like, weight in no time. Again, there are medications and devices that can help you overcome that.
Mm.
And I am a believer in using science with knowledge, with knowing, with true respect, and a direction that this is for healing. And sometimes prevention is the best healing that you can give to yourself.
Mhm. How,
Prevention of a disease is the best form of healing.
I would
It's like
love to,
prevention of an accident is best form of driving.
yeah.
So health, and if your health, so health care, health is like, that's what it is, stay healthy. How
Hmm.
to not, how to
Yeah.
do it with caution, with all the appropriate, management and filters.
I would love to go into prevention. Before we do, how does HRT work for women? Do they do a test to see what your hormone levels are and
Yes.
then they balance them that way?
So one of the things again that you will see is that they can check the levels where you are in your, so we have different measurements, and your doctor should be able to check that and figure out where you are in your reproductive, capacity. So basically, once they check those hormones, sometimes you may not find any problems in the hormones as such, because the hormones may just be in within range, but the woman will be still complaining that, your sleep may be disrupted, your gut may be disrupted, something else might not be working out, maybe your hair starts falling or something like that. So it is also symptoms. So a pause, when we talk about a pause, imagine that your body is a car. It's a vehicle that's carrying and holding your consciousness together through time and gravity. So think of it that way. So when a pause happens, it's not just the pause in your pelvic area, the reproductive parts. Although it is one of the, when you are having regular periods, it is a very good indicator of where you are in time. So if your periods are irregular, If your periods are stopping or fluctuating or heavy or light, you can tell where you are in the system. However, what I'm trying to say is that, the pause affects every system. It cardiac, mental fog, that can happen at any time. I'm sorry, I should have had some water. 1 second.
Oh,
Can I
yeah,
take a sip of water?
please, yes.
Because I'm talking so much.
Yeah, which is great.
You're making me talk. Yeah.
I don't, I actually want to talk more about the cycle because, and I don't mind using myself as an example
Mm-hmm.
because I track using one of those apps. I don't know how accurate everything is. Actually, I've noticed that it's not always accurate. I will plug in when my cycle starts and then when it ends. And I notice it tells me the next time it's supposed to start, but it's always a couple days earlier than that. Is that because of my age? I'm finding that there's less days in between my cycles. Is that going to happen as I age?
That is a very good question because you're not alone. A lot of girls have this, they question, and that's something that I also sometimes explain with what's going on in your system, So I get it, like that we are increasingly moving away our records onto an app because it keeps track of us better than we keep track. So you have now outsourced that information to someone by plugging it in, even though it is going to be your concierge. And that is one of the things. It's like I think that every human deserves a concierge of their own, so that device is is going to help you keep track. And what ends up happening in your uterus is that, think of your ovaries as two chefs, head chefs. They produce eggs, so each ovary produces one egg each. And you release, however, to release that one egg, you know how many eggs get into the race?
Mm.
Around 12,000. So it's like thousands of eggs get into the race, and then there is one winner. It's like a big, large marathon. you
Wow.
know so every month that race happens of different genetic codes that run to um, get cooked, because that winner is going to have a chance at existence, at becoming, at where it can, if it is in the right place at the right time and ready, it's going to get fertilized and meet that other person with which it will become quantum entangled through bloodlines,
Mm.
right? So that's how you will pass down your light. So that egg, once it's released, it's like those chefs have created those eggs. Once it releases and it does not get consumed, for instance, it's like the chefs get really, really irritated. They're like, shit, I prepared this 12-course meal. This was like the best fucking course. And it has not gotten, nobody came to eat it. So it throws out that red carpet alongside the genetic material, and it goes through you. So that is that system of, you releasing your flow of menstruation. And then, listen, the body doesn't give up, because next month they do it again, and the next month they do it again. However, by the time you're hitting 40s or late 30s, the prime time is over and the chefs are tired. And so late 30s, before 40s is considered, um, you know, the advanced maternal age, because the codes are like, they're tired, they're like depleted every month. And especially if you're not somebody who's actively looking after yourself. Now, if you're actively looking after yourself and not hitting these pauses, you may be able to carry that code for much longer. Now they have new research. They say that actually it's not the egg. The egg can stay good for a very, very long time. It's the sperm, the quality of the sperm that, if it is not good, it's going to just, it will not be able to impact the egg. So
So you're
with new advancements where we can like re-nourish your system, we can actually make this period where you can, efficiently carry these eggs last much longer. But a lot of women now are aware of their limitations, and they are also aware of the quality of partners that they have. So because of that, a lot of women are now choosing to again use science to just preserve their eggs. And that way they will be off of the, this pressure of coupling is off, and then they can be at ease because they can have this joining with somebody that they care for and they can trust.
so we can now have children later in life than we could before.
Yes. Yes. And without, and I sometimes I feel that, when women are satisfied that okay, my eggs are okay, and I have, so that pressure is off, just the cortisol is better and they get pregnant.
Mm.
And we do infusions of nutrients sometimes for women, and that also because remember, your body is a production center. So if it feels depleted, it's not going to get pregnant. It's not going to create new life if it's that depleted, and at least not good one. Like it's hard. I think that creation requires some raw material. So sometimes
I
we supply it. Sometimes you can eat it.
mm,
Sometimes, if you don't want to like just eat everything, you can, sometimes you just place it in your system via veins, like
mm,
intravenous nutrients and supplements. So we do that all the time too.
I
But you
do
have to be
love
careful
IV.
who's doing this for you,
Right.
because that comes into the realm of deep medicine. You have to know organic chemistry and cellular chemistry at a very cellular level, and have an understanding of not just one organ but every single organ before you mess with somebody's body.
Mhm. Before you put something into your vein. But I do
Yeah.
love IV therapy. Some of this, I'll admit, I struggle with because I feel like it works against creation and against our natural cycle of our bodies. So, like with the HRT or with the freezing of the eggs, I think, well, maybe, we're supposed to go through these changes at these times for a reason. Are we resisting Mother Nature? Are we working against our body's natural abilities of where they're supposed to be at those times?
Well, that's a good deep philosophical question, and all doctors, as they save lives of somebody who's in their 50s and 60s going through a pause, and we bring you out of that, whether it's cardiovascular pause or kidney pause or whatever pause, when they give you antibiotic because your immune system has paused, and we drag you out, should we just let you die? Because the natural thing should be that you should be dead by the time you're 35. However, we are basically the ones who are wrestling with God and nature and saying that please, we're ready to transform ourselves to something more useful. We'll do good. We'll do, like, we may not, our um, responsibilities and work and purpose does not end when our reproductive and fertility years are over. We can actually be of use beyond these years to humans. So we basically are, saying that, please, with all due respect, trees last a lot longer than humans, and why can't humans, human life is not the longest lifespan. So what we're doing is that not only modern medicine is increasing the your lifespan, but also many people in modern medicine look around you, and I'm sure that you'll start noticing those people who truly work for actually medicine, but medical health related things, where they're like, interested in increasing your health span and your lifespan too, because that's the purpose of maintaining your consciousness. One thing that I realized, and this lesson I learned while I was a geriatrician, is that if you think that your consciousness is complete at 30 or 35, you may have to wait wait and see. You will be so amazed and surprised that when you are 80, your consciousness is going to be at the peak of its experience. And at that point, if you're also integrated with your health, you will be able to do things and accomplish things that none of your ancestors were capable of. Right now, by the time somebody is that smart, intuitively, consciously, through experience, whatever is their purpose, they don't have any agency because they're about to fall apart. You know, it's like just finding something and then, oh my God, my time is up,
Mm.
or my energy is up, or my health is up. I can't, how. So the thing is, the purpose of a younger person aligning with this philosophy of health and wellness at a deeper level, and not just through your experience and through managing your lifestyle in a new way. I also don't think that it is bad, because human consciousness is very, very rare. And it is I know, in this multiverse that we live in, to find humans who can appreciate not only themselves but outside of themselves, and can look beyond the beyonds. But we are like not even a little tiny bubble currently, because the moment we realize things, we just cease to exist. So at that point, it's kind of imperative for us to try to extend it, because time is just an illusion. It's like, it's not something that that just exists in your calendar. It is, a multi-layered phenomenon. And as they are trying to understand quantum physics, they get like completely blown away. They say, oh my God, it's shocking how it is layered. So, in this time where you and I exist, there are things that can increase your agency, lifespan, health span, and help you through your pauses and how you're going to get over them. And I think that it is imperative for every female to connect with people who bring her that, and to find those things, because they exist now. Now we're everywhere.
Another thing, another that would probably fall under this category, GLP-1s.
Yes.
What are those exactly?
So again, you're asking all my favorite questions, because that's what I do. So GLP-1 agonists are, w- so they are sugar neutralizers. Basically, this is like a miracle of modern medicine. And I call it a miracle of modern medicine. It was accidentally found. They're basically sugar neutralizers. However, they have an impact on your fat cells. They're like Botox for your fat cells. So your fat cells are is another organ in your system, and it's they are forever cells. They almost never die once they are in your system. They do shrink and increase in size based on the food you eat, and how much stress you undergo through, and all the chemistry that they go through. They either become diseased. If they become diseased and inflamed, they the poop of your fat cells is also known as cholesterol in your bloodstream. So though that is so, if your fat cells are abnormal, the poop that they will release is also abnormal. And your fat cells are most addicted to sugar and processed sugar. And processed sugar is now everywhere in every food item, whether it's bread or whatever, unless you're some uh, organic farmer somewhere and you have, where you're extremely disciplined or something, there is like processed sugar in all your food. So what is ending up happening is that we have like this epidemic in United States, especially this epidemic of obesity, which is a abnormality of just your fat cell. So obesity is just where your fat cell as an organ behaving abnormally. And these are cells that can increase in number. However, it's very hard to decrease them. There are some ways to decrease them, but mostly either it's surgical or it is non-surgical, but you have to do repeated treatments, and they're super expensive for insurance as well as out of pocket things. So enter GLP-1 agonists. So GLP-1 agonists, so all my medical, so I've been a doctor for like almost 3 decades now. So at least 25 years I've been like just working on this thing of obesity, because guess what happens during perimenopause and during menopause and during andropause, your system is going to start gathering weight. And it is that chemical imbalance for your fat cells just makes them explode around certain areas of your body, and you don't know how to get them out. No matter, like, there are women who are so, like Serena Williams these days, I think, recently even mentioned, who's like this super tennis superstar, who said that, listen, after giving birth to my child, I just couldn't, even with my work routine, I couldn't lose weight. And then she had to go on GLP-1 agonists. So GLP-1, they're basically sugar neutralizers. So all the food there and sugar that you're exposing your system to, it just shields your internal system from getting oxidized by sugar or getting impacted by sugar. So it's like, it acts as like this very healing reaction for the fat cells, and it removes that addictive pattern that modern food can cause in our lives. So I love it. It is a very important thing. I tell ladies that, you can definitely lift your body out of a pause. You don't, like, if you have, like, let's say 20 pounds extra that you've just gained and you need to remove it, you can go on a GLP-1 agonist at a very micro dose. So we believe in, micro doses, and to control this dose. You have to control this dose just like you control your Botox dose. So if you've have you ever experienced Botox treatment?
Yes.
Good, good. So Botox is the world's fastest acting anti-aging medication. And when you use it preventatively in your 20s or 30s, your dose is very, very little. Most likely, if you go to the right longevity health doctor, they will give you a dose that is supposed to be very little. If you do too much, it just, too much of anything is not supposed to be good. May not be good for you. Don't think that something, don't overdo it. But if you do it according to your aesthetic senses, plus, where you feel comfortable, that, yes, you're keeping your vision of self together through time. So where you feel the best, that's where I say that, where you should feel, you know that I'm looking good, I'm feeling good, and more energetic, wherever you are more in flow. Similarly, this medication, which is GLP-1 agonist for fat cell, these are basically Botoxes for your fat cells, where they bring it back in time. So your fat cells release all the energy that they are just hoarding for no reason, and then they give these signals to your brain to eat more because they're addicted now. So those signals decrease, your fat cells relax, and your brain removes that cravings, of unneeded, unnecessary calories. And it also removes that dopamine hit, that sugar, that addictive pattern, that, oh, I'm going to get like this release of pleasure. So that pattern is disrupted, and that brings a lot of healing. However, if you're already obese and you've too much fat has already accumulated inside your system, it will be hard for you to not need these medications all the time, but you also might need to employ other methods to actually eliminate certain amount of fat cells from certain areas, because fat is a we have to understand fat better, because it is something that I feel that it just can shape shift through your organ. So it can go grab your organ from outside, and it can also permeate within it, And when it poops into your fats, the bloodstream as cholesterol. So it can also clog systems. Particulates of it are so small and so tiny that it can just go through things and cause blockages in your system, whether it is lymphatic system, sometimes it's skin, sometimes it's blood and stuff.
Now, who's a good candidate for GLP-1s? Anyone that has at least 20 pounds or more of weight that they want to lose?
So it is one of the things that it does is, obesity management by controlling your appetite. However, I am one of those people who thinks that its best utility is sugar neutralizing because sugar ages your system very quickly and it will have protective effects from, just sugar. Because remember, even stress, when you're stressed, you're going to pour cortisol in your system and that also is a steroid and it raises your sugar you know so that's the one of the things is that I feel that it's not just that you're overweight you should be on it. It should be like just something that even if you're not overweight, you should just do like a microdose of it just to protect your system from sugar and from perimenopausing. It's like giving your system an additional security blanket
Hmm.
from your own self.
Oh, okay.
Because it is from your own self, because you're going to be eating all this food, you're going to be the one who's creating all this stress,
I see.
ups and downs. So this is like an internal security blanket from your own you know uh, um, living, just going through life and experience.
Mm.
And sometimes, you get under the influence of others, like friends and stuff, who might say, oh, come have this drink, stay up late, party until whatever morning. Like, sometimes, we get affected. That also, eventually, we have to be accountable for having those friends who are creating this kind of havoc in our systems. We do
Mm.
not need havoc or chaos in our system. I mean, sometimes you're responsible for your chaos because maybe if you have a child who has issues, and then you're responsible for that chaos in your life, whatever. I mean, of course, and then there'll be a lot of pain and suffering. However, friends is something that you don't you only want people who don't bring chaos to your life.
Mhm.
Toxicity can be is also quite uh, what do you say, spreadable. It can be,
Yeah.
it just travels very fast.
It comes from
It's
everywhere.
infectious.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So sometimes, and that's sometimes it happens that you'd find like somebody who's like really good, and you'd go and even good people, some toxic people like to break you, watch you break. So,
Mm.
if you have such energy around you, it'll be hard for you to be happy and healthy because you are a system and all your cells are real and they're alive.
Mhm.
The only thing that will not get impacted by toxicity is your robot. So the robot is, so because robot does not have emotion, but humans have emotion.
Is your robot your not your ego, because your ego has emotion?
Yeah, you have emotion. All of you has emotion. Even your ancestral spirits that may still be attached to you still have emotion. However, when you are in front of a machine will not have emotion. And that's why we say that healing will not be possible with just robot. So you will need a human for healing. So one areas that robot will not be able to take over is your doctor. It may be the helper of your doctor, like a concierge, will say, oh, please go and meet somebody who can, touch you and bring you, and, so you feel like a human. Otherwise, robot does not have that energy. It has knowledge and information, but it doesn't have that energy yet because it hasn't been able to birth itself.
Mhm.
We birthed it. Okay, listen, we're having this deep conversation.
Yeah,
I
we
like
went
it.
deep.
I like it. I like it. We should do it again.
We should. Dr.
Mhm.
Den, I have two closing questions for you, but before I ask them, where can listeners go to learn more about your work?
So again, I will tell them to come and please. So we're like kind of omnipresent on the social media. We're like everywhere. I have a TikTok. Um, I think I also have a LinkedIn. I never go there though, and I have YouTube. But my podcast, the Bathroom Diaries, which used to be called Anti Aging with Dr. Giovanni, now it's called Bathroom Diaries because we're like, I think I should just get to the point.
I like it.
And then my website is botoxguru.org. So people can find out more information about different things that are currently available in United States that are FDA approved or cleared. So because there's a lot of spam in this market, and you have to be able to tell spam from real stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's a waste of money. You're going to end up like losing your money.
Hmm.
And the worst is if you end up losing connection with your beauty. Because if you make too many mistakes too many times, you will get disconnected with your beauty. And when you're young and in your 30s or 40s, there's still a chance that, shit doesn't hit the fan and you recover. But as you get older, when you're in your 50s and 60s, you don't have that many chances anymore. So, your age group is my target client.
Great.
But mostly women find me after they need it, after
Yeah. When
they
they're
are in
recovering.
pause. So
Yeah.
when they come, they're like everything is in pause. Hair is falling, skin is. They're like I don't know what happened. I woke up one day one like this, and everything has because your skin is not only expanding all your life, it grows, and your skin is intimately tied with your brain. So it has an impact on when you look at yourself. So mostly I find women when they're in their pause and post-menopause because at that point you can't you can't rest the pause out of your system. After you have 5 days of rest and relaxation, you will find that you're still in the pause because you're paused. So now at somebody has to like lift it out. And that it is mostly, I mean, if they are married to men their age or older, they won't be able to lift you out of your pause because they're also pausing probably. So, women have to lift themselves out of the pause.
Oh man. And that's where Dr. Din comes in.
That's then, so I'm like, so I tell people that I have a body shop. So where you bring your body when you've paused. And at this time, either you're going to get sick or pause more. If you pause for too long and your system will start disintegrating, you will have this and that disease.
Oh no.
It's not going to stop. It's going to stop when you stop and pay attention to yourself and then find people like myself. But I cannot be for I'm definitely not for everyone because I am, my actual physical location is in New York. So how many people, after listening to this talk can actually even reach me? And I am, for some people, I'm available, in California. I have a New York and California license. However, the rest of people who come across your message, this message will have to find somebody who is, trained in health and wellness and longevity medicine, which is one of the very quickly developing fields in modern medicine. And currently, if you look around you, I'm sure, where are you located?
I'm in Florida.
Yeah. So, Florida is full of people like me. Yes, exactly. And they're great. So, find somebody in your neighborhood where you can go again and again. Because remember, just when your for sickness management, you can go to a doctor once a year because, okay, your doctor will be like, yeah, you're not sick yet, get out of here. But for health management, you need a lot of involved care. And especially if you have beauty management on top of health, then you and your uh, person of interest, person who helps you maintain that connection, have to be a very intimate and close relationship, monitoring all your doses, all your stuff that makes you who you where you like yourself the best
Mm.
together. So, you become best friends, besties for life. And then always have someone else who also can be your backup, because you have to have backups that you can trust.
My first question for you, what is your number one health tip? So whether that is mindset, diet and nutrition, emotional, spiritual, just the number one tip that you would like everyone to know.
Number one tip. That's so hard. So I made recently wrote an article on this, and it's like, DIY. So it's beyond DIY. So DIY is like, it's there's no number one. These are do it yourself that you are supposed to do every day by yourself. So beyond DIY, when you go to somebody like me, like, whatever, is like beyond DIY, find somebody like me if you want to stay in touch with versions of yourself that you like best, because when you're at that peak, that's where you have to grab the hold of somebody. So that's what I would be, find your longevity doctor. Beyond DIY is like, you know several tips which you can do it at home. You don't need somebody like me, but at some point that thing will end, and that's the time that you are living in. And then you have to find that connection who brings you on this time out of the 18th century here. And in your 40s and 50s, you just leave the 18th century behind you.
My last question for you is going to be more personal. You choose a number 1 through 100, and that will tell us which question it is.
Number 9.
What drives your purpose in life?
Motherhood.
Oh.
Motherhood, because that is, we as women um, have to carry the light forward, and knowledge and experience, and pass down the ancestral information to the next. So that is the basic thing, and whatever you need to do to make that happen. um, and a woman is the true creator of our reality in this on this planet. So, and so it's my top purpose. And then how every mother wants its creation to outlast her, to do better than her, because she's your true friend and true leader, cheerleader. So if she's true, so she will be, she'll try to make you go farther than her. So, how your wellness and then the wellness of your child, how you pass it down.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Din.
You're most welcome.
This was a lot of fun. We went to a lot of places and I loved it. This was really great. And we should do it again because I have a lot more questions to ask you.
Oh, seriously, I know you are like an asker of questions. I can see. I had
Yeah.
fun. But thank you for keeping me and having me over. And whenever I look forward to this recording. I do like it, and I'd love to share it with my people who, you know, um, love to hear these questions, because this is like, what you asked me is what everybody ends up having this conversation with me at one point or the other. So sometimes, these things work very well.
Hmm. Yeah, I know people my age are wondering these things. So I just thought, I mean, this is in your wheelhouse. And if I'm wondering these things, then it's perfect to go ahead and ask you. And
Yes,
yeah,
yes. Where in Florida are you?
Sarasota.
Nice, nice.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe you should get licensed over here.
Actually, a lot of people tell me to get a license in Florida because some of my very important clients are there. So they have to like now fly over to New York. It's just that, the more places you have, the more headaches you have. And I feel that it's like, the work is energy. So and then this kind of work needs a lot of tools also. So it's energy plus tools aligning to assist someone. So I feel that, it's worthy of someone if they love themselves enough for them to fly to a place where they can get this, for now, until we're able to have like such important, whatever, because right currently the thing is that not every human that we're meeting is the same. They're not the same, their problems are not the same, and their definitely budgets are not the same, because sometimes you need everything but you do not have the budget, because all of what we do is currently out of pocket expenses for people.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a matter of prioritizing.
Of yourself, yeah, being true to
Yeah.
your own self first. It's like putting oxygen on yourself before you put it on others.
Hmm.
Helping yourself first. However, women are taught to sacrifice themselves first.
Yeah.
you know and we have to shift that paradigm a bit.
Yeah.
And a time will come that if it is appropriate, please do it, but
Mhm. Yeah. You either do it now or you do it when you have no choice.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. See, exactly.
Yeah.
You just said it.
Well, thank you for everything you do. And I'll let you go. I know we went a little bit over, but you'll get an email from me shortly, just kind of telling you when it will come out. And then I'll be in touch after that.
Absolutely. Take care. Take care. Nice to talk to you. Bye-bye.
Nice to talk to you. Bye.
Bye.